Right. Let me gather my wits about me. Think about what else I wanted to teach. Hey, hi, who was that? Someone just dominated my screen. Okay, so let's just double check that we understand the spiral mudra because it's very powerful. I didn't do this close up as much as I wanted to earlier in the middle of the flow. Let's take an exam. How many people understand the spiral mudra? Do you understand this? The nautical spiral, do you understand the Fibonacci code? In my ancient US DVDs, this was Dragon Claw Mudra, but then it became Ginki Mudra, then it became Spiral Mudra. But what it comes from in Buddhist martial arts is it's like a hammer. And it relates to our yoga because energetically it's containing this power, but it also is very physical. The thumb is the base of inner hugging power. That's why finger stance forces to hug. So even we don't know it, when we practice finger stance, it creates hug power. So it's very important. Just like thumbs forward creates hug power, which activates the upper core from the inner arm to the rib transverse abdominis through the abs into the pelvis and inner leg to the inner feet, right? So when the thumb comes over the index, that creates a lot of inner force. So that's power. But when the finger pads touch the palm, that creates an extension of the outer wrist, which stabilizes it. And that's why it's a hammer strike. So if you're in an enclosed area, this is just so you know the roots of the practice. You can't do that when you're when you're fighting in a tunnel. Sorry, but this is for circle motions. So centrifugal force, boom, like that, block, block, strike, just like working on a bag, like in boxing, European or American boxing, right? And Kung Fu does that, block, block, strike. But anyway, the inner force is, the inner muscle is very strong, and the outer joint, the yang bone body, is very stable, right? So that's what this is. But for our practices, when I do this, the first mudra, I'm always, when I go to the second bonded flow, I hold, that's when we do our first kumbhaka, our first breath retention, right? We do this. I'm doing that mudra. I don't usually teach it. So the thumb comes over the index and that activates, and then and then I hug in, right? So that's that inner strength. That's the hug. That's all that power. That's muscle, right? And the finger pads come in. So we've got very stable joints from the small finger side. And we hold the breath. And then we exhale, we press it down. We make a rectangle. The arms straight and the wrists are 90 degrees. A lot of people just do punch down or they don't know what I'm doing. It's complete release of old energy. Right down to the dantian, right down through the inner core, right through the pelvic floor. It also is activating the chest, the pecs, and the lats. Really, really good. So that's just clearing the space. It's because it is a prana bandha practice. It's a breath and contraction practice. So just spreading the sheets, right? Just ironing out the toxins and tension and flushing out old energy, making room for new energy on the in-breath. So then we're generating expansive energy when we hold the breath. That's important. And then we repeat. And the S sound activate inner micro core. They release tension in the mind, or stress in the mind, and tension in the body. So that's that. Now the kinetics behind it, the mechanics, the energy of motion behind it. I'm just going to throw this out there. So I've taught this before. I've taught them all before, but when you hold the thumb, you take these 2 forefingers. That's a lot of pull power. If you make a peace sign, the peace mudra, it's a hook mudra. You make a peace sign, right? But then you close your fingers together, make a hook. That's very strong for pulling, right? So, and we do it in yoga, right? When you take Padangusthasana mudra, Pada is foot, leg, or chapter, but it's also, and Angusta is thumb. So foot, thumb, Pada Angusta, foot, thumb is big toe. Okay, that's why it's Padangusthasana. So Padangustha is catching we do it in yoga, right? So when we do Astanga Vinyasa or something, so we catch the toe, we go, right? We do like that, or we catch the toe in these poses, right? You know, do you do that sometimes? Catching the toe, right? Like that, or we pick it up, right? Like that, right? Okay, right? So that's a very similar type of power that yoga teaches us if you pay attention, right? But anyway, you take that hook mudra, you close the finger, and you get a very strong pull, and you just very, very gentle, you take your thumb, and you just lightly pull, and you realize that the thumb is not strong, the fingers and wrists are not strong. In fact, the elbow is not strong, and neither is the shoulder, actually, unless we apply the mechanics of spreading the fingers, right? That opens the energy, and a little bit of grip, just a little, not a lot. Spread and a little power. Now you've turned on the juice. Now you've turned on the source power. Then when you take your hook mudra, your peace sign hook, and you pull the thumb is strong, the fingers are strong, the wrist is strong, the elbow is strong, the shoulder is strong. That's to understand that this open power, open with awareness, with action, right? That applies to this, right? So it's kind of like the thumb is activated and the joints are stabilized. And in the same way with the foot, like in martial arts, I don't know if you can see this, but in the same way, the thumb is as strong with the index. So the big toe is representing the thumb and the index, okay? So that stays extended. But the other fingers close in, which makes this long, structurally stable the joint, the wrist joint. In the same way, when the remaining toes pull down, just like this becomes long and stable for the outer heel, which stabilizes the ankle. So when you kick with the outer heel, the ankle is very stable. That's what that is. It's the same as this. This is why you strike from here, from the outer wrist, right? Or strike from the outer heel. How that applies to yoga stance structuring is that the reason we can guess, the reason why they call it warrior pose is because it is a warrior technique. It's martial arts. So the back leg is usually the base or the strength of all standing poses. But if you look at the structure of like warrior one, the hip is rotated in, which stabilizes the thigh to the pelvis. And then the outer heel is very strong, right? And if you picked it up, that would be a side kick. It's the same thing. Boom. But they just put it down. It's like yogic arts. It's like the Indian martial arts as asana. So there's just a little food for thought that's slightly interesting. I'm just making a few connections so that when we do our practice, we think about the relationships and the roots of our structures. Let's see, what else did I want to teach today? Usually when I teach mudra, people have requests or questions about mudras, but perhaps that's not the case today. So let me just think on my feet for a moment. We still have a little bit of time together. What's important? Well, let's just keep exercising because we want to feel good, right? And see what comes up. So when we take the arm up, a lot of people in this arm mudra will just kind of take the arm up and kind of pull sideways, which is fine, but it kind of compresses the neck and the shoulders. Doesn't get really the stretch that I'm looking for when I want to do, for example, back bends. So I would prefer not to I would prefer not to internalize the shoulder joint and then compress it like that. It's not bad, it's fine. But what I suggest we take on is that we spread the fingers, we hug the elbow in so the shoulder joint rotates out. So that when the shoulder joint rotates out, then the shoulder blade can comfortably drop down. So that then we pull straight back, not to the side, not towards the other arm, but to the back wall. And then you get that deep decompression of the shoulder joint with this in its spacious, externally rotated position. The more we spread the fingers, the more spacious and stable, as we discussed, the joints become. That's why I keep saying spread the fingers when we work the wrist all the time. And then we're pulling it back, right? So nice. Now, if you want to take that into a stance, if you are in a standing position and you're a warrior one, right? And you turn back the other way, okay? And then you're going to step behind. If you want to try it, I'll make it a little bit more simple. You're just standing there, right? And you just let your feet turn and twist till your inner thighs touch. Right? Just like you're on the playground, just playing around, right? Making friends. And you spin your inner thighs long. Okay? That means the foot behind you is standing down. That's the back heel right now. Okay? The front heel is the one in front of you. Right? Is it clear? So the back leg side is the arm that comes up. Okay? So that's what comes up, right? So you're like that. So the back leg side is the arm that lifts up. Then you employ the elbow in, the shoulder blade down, the fingers spread and pulling straight back. But then you push the head, as you inhale, lift the chest, push the head into the forearm and lengthen the lower spine. And then you squeeze your inner thighs together because you're going to get it really deep in that hip probably. And you're going to pull that whole side body all the way from the upper arm to the outer shoulder blade, to the ribs, to the waist, to the outer thigh, all the way down to the outer knee, to the ankle. That's a very important stretch. Right? A little bit more. Who's crawling around on my roof? Something heavy. Probably some monkeys. And then we drop, they want us to do yoga. And we drop down. Now here's where we go complex. It's not complex, but we're gonna add the reverse lace lock mudra on the back. So where you are, your arms are down, right? Spread your fingers, you take your thumbs. Something big is digging around outside my house. And then the thumbs hook the hips. And again, don't just pull with your thumbs because it's not stable. Remember this? Got to spread and grip a little. Then the thumb becomes very strong. Remember that? So make sure you spread and grip a little when you use your thumbs to pull the hip creases. Yeah, they'll. Then the thumbs are really strong. Good. Then you're pulling down, squatting, squeezing the inner thighs together. You're getting a lot of outer thigh on that front leg side, all the way down that outer band, that deep hip seat, right? You feel that? Piriformis, that back core. And then, if you're still in the game, the backs of the fingertips touch together. What the hell is climbing around my house? The backs of the fingernails touch together. Remember the reverse lace lock. We interlace. We pull deep, and the thumb pads press together to bring the shoulder blades together to activate the ribs. Do you understand a little bit? Yeah? So now we're getting, and bend your knees. It's a lot of outer band. Don't strain the outer knee, right?
Just keep your thighs together. And now we've got a lot going on. And what are you getting out of this? Among the outer band thigh, you can rest. Beyond the outer band thigh, whatever else that's juicy that you feel from your deep external hip and your strong internal heel, inner thigh, you're getting the front leg side stretch that you feel up that leg. Eventually, as you breathe past the feeling of the outer thigh and the deep seat, you're going to start to feel it on the sacrum on that same side. So the leg that your foot that you're looking at, that feeling that you're experiencing, that same side sacrum is getting the stretch. Whoa. Because all of our sacrums are slightly twisted from stance and movement habits, and which side we use more. So that is what creates subluxation or hike in the hip, compression in the back. So this is the first big therapeutic step, kind of advanced information to release this tension on one side of the sacrum. So then when you stand up and you spin to the other side, which your body really wants to do, you'll notice when you go into the full pose that one side is clearly tighter than the other, and it gives you a lot of information how to balance your body and stop the pain and increase the power, okay? So this is kind of important. This is kind of like RYT 300. But hey, let's just get ready. So when you turn your feet as far as they'll go until the inner thighs lock together, what you get is 90 degrees on the same line as the ankles are on one line, right? It's like a number 7. This is Warrior 7, by the way, in my system. So then the back leg side, are you guys okay? Can I keep going? Okay, so the back leg side, just like the first side we did, is the same arm that comes up, right? And you push the head into the arm. It helps to pull the elbow first. Oh, you know what you're doing. You'd be like, whoa, that whole side body, all the way from elbow to heel, to the foot, to the ankle. And you're pulling, whoa, inner thigh softening, head lifting chest, pushing into arm, twisting, pulling side body, super strong, grabbing opposite arm, pulling away, getting that long stretch up the side body through the outer shoulder blade, whoa, or even to the wrist, shoo, just like if you blocked and catch somebody's wrist, so they're going like that, you block and catch the wrist, right? So it's all martial arts, but doing it to yourself for therapy. As you move down the arm, the other arm moves, the stretch follows. But anyway, forget all that. We're in the stance, we let go, we soften down, we chill out, we get the inner thighs together, we try to inner thighs together, but the knee doesn't kick the calf. Another time or now, we could talk about balance creates the body. With the bandha and the balance, you get the position. It's perfect for knee not kicking calf when you squeeze your thighs together, but don't care. And then you've got your spread fingers, little grip, very strong thumbs, and here's the hook. Whoa, finger stance mudra as an assist. So the mudra, we have mudras, we have supportive mudras for mudra, support mudras, and then we have adjustment mudras, assist mudras. So this is an assist, self-assist mudra. Clearly you can adjust somebody else too, and very good stuff. And we're going in. Ooh, the outer knee, how's that going? Bend the knee, feel that outer band, the outer IT band, and going deep. Oh, that might be it today. You might hold the floor, hold the thigh. But if you want to try the reverse lace lock from the backside, it's such a juicy, lovely thing. So we put the backs of the fingernails together from behind. We interlace the backs of the fingers together. And we start pulling the joint, shoulders back, making space for the elbow. When thumb pads press, the shoulder blades come together a little more, the micro muscle management. And then we're going deep. Whoa. Inner thighs are squeezing together. And it's a lot on the outer knee of that front leg side. So it might be quite nice to soften and don't overstrain that outer thigh, outer knee in the front. And of course, what you're getting when you release down, You're feeling that stretch up the outer thigh through the deep seat, and that's that side of the sacral muscle, from the sacrum to the hip, and all those pressure points that are releasing. And that is a reference for us to sense which side is tighter, and which side do we need to pay attention to release deep toxins and tension on the core muscle level there. The piriformis, the front of the sacrum, connects to the inner lesser trochanter, inner head of the thigh bone, right straight across the pelvic, back of the pelvis, I believe. And so that's a very important stretch. Also to protect our sciatic nerve down the back of the leg. But that's a very stable pelvis, sacrum to pelvis to head, inner head of thigh bone stabilizer. So that's important. So we shift side to side. I'm going to copy you now. We lost a few minutes back there. I thank you for your patience with that. Let's see. The reverse lace lock of death. We can't forget that. This is going to wake you up. You're not going to forget this one. Some of us are going to need to do this on the wall. Okay, I can tell your back hurts, some of you. Okay, so let's just do something before the reverse lace lock of immortality. Let's go ahead and do the arm lock with the recline and pull the knee towards the floor. I always recommend that you start soft so that you can manage your ankle over your knee. So that when you lace lock from the arm lock, interlace normally and pull the knee towards the floor, that's step one. Try not to twist the knee unless you really need to. Try to keep that lunge. And then put the foot down if you can, or beyond. And then try to maintain the structural alignment of that ankle over knee. Go deep. Then you start to swing flow. Back, forward. We might have to forego the immortality mudra. Make sure we get a little more exercise with a lot of information, a lot of static download. Maybe that's enough today. So let's just, right? Long leg, long spine. Let's release the back through the back chain. Let's release through the back hamstring softly with the bent leg. Some people can rock if they need a little more. Inhale up, exhale down. Leg over option. Inhale up, exhale down. Looking for a little core, you can balance up and kick it out. Right. Okay. For people that are looking for more advanced practice, the way we reached over to the outer foot mudra, right? And then softening the pose by bending the knee. I know it's hard for your neck to watch me right now. So if you need to hold your head, that's fine. But eventually, or stop and come up and sit and watch. But basically, all I'm suggesting is you keep circling the arm against the calf, behind the knee, keep circling it back, keep closing the rib towards the thigh, and keep working your shoulder blade behind your calf, just like we did in the lunge. This is just the viparita, the reverse inclined position. Right, you're just trying to get the shoulder blade behind the calf or the thigh. And that's the direction you go. To prepare for that, you take a knocking mudra, like knocking on a door. Striking mudra, thumb goes over towards the fingernail. But of course, you don't want to hit your thumb on a door, right? So the thumb goes to the side when you knock, isn't it? And that knocking mudra is flat palm fist, which goes under your pelvis and serves like a prop. It serves like a prop to stabilize your pelvis to level, so that when you do extend, however you can do that, you don't fall off to the side. You're very stable. And the knuckles again massage the muscles outside of the sacrum and the deep glutes. That's a nice prep for Ekapada down the road. Wonderful. Then I'm going to roll to my side and extend my leg, and the leg that went back is now counterposing like a virasana. And I'm just going to pull the heel into the hip, keep the knee close to the opposite leg towards the floor, pull it straight backwards. Take my neck, decompress my QL, lower back, by pulling the knee backwards with the heel to the hip, even if I have to scissor forward to make it happen. Right, that's what I'm looking for. Ooh. You want to drop into the Ekapada Supta Vira. This variation, lift the pelvis, get a little more release out of your thigh to stretch the cord, or to release compression on the lower spine. Just so as connect 6 points to the lower front spine, right? So that long thigh, pelvis up, long core will take the pressure off the lower spine. There you go. Beauty. Or whatever you want to do with that. Then I'm going to come up myself and slow down. Bring my sit bones back, because back bend is sacrum forward, right? And forward bend is sit bones back, right? Lift the pelvis a little bit. Very gentle there, a little tiny bit. Ooh. Feel the effect, releasing the tension and toxins from the lower back. And then release the leg. And then we'll take the other side. Interlace the fingers around the foot from the inner arm lock. Pulling the ankle over the knee towards the floor. And going as deep as you can. You need to twist, that's fine. Try to feel what the lunge can do for the hip and the deep seat and the hamstring. Maybe exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. All right. If you want to swing flow a little, inhale, balance up. Exhale, take it back. Inhale up. Extend if you're going for a little more. And take it back. Reach over. Take your knocking mudra. Try to get your shoulder blade behind your calf. Try to put your fist palm down under your pelvis. Just like an arm lock, right? Stabilize the pelvis and extend a little, or don't extend. Right? You can assess how much tension is in the outer thigh, outer knee. And feel where you can go with your hip. You know, like that. Right? Then I'm going to do the same counter pose. I'm going to roll to my side. And the leg I worked, I'm going to counter it back. Pull the heel to the hip. Bring the legs close together towards the floor. And pull that leg back. If I need to scissor my free leg forward, that will help me pull my leg back. That's fine. Good. I need just a little bit of that. Okay. And you might even just if you can tuck your toe under, you might go pretty deep there. Center, make sure the knee's okay. If it's not, you just come up and chill. And you can do it many different ways, you know, just softer, that's fine. And what a wonderful release. Activate the long leg, long spine, long core, releasing spacious back. Okay. I would always choose reverse lace lock if I'm looking to open my shoulders. I would do regular lace lock and invert the palm up if I'm looking to internalize my shoulders for the inner stretch. If I'm looking for the long side body and the very open shoulder free neck, I would definitely do reverse lace lock, pulling the joint, pushing the muscle. In that super long core, which if you can feel it, you'd be doing the Uddiyana Kriya. You'd be doing the long abdominal core, which we can finish with in a moment. Different kind of internal mudras. But first, let's get the sit bone slightly back. See about moving from the hips with the thumbs. And in finger stance assist mudra in the upright seated position is the middle finger, maybe the ring finger that will be reaching for the floor. External hip, active thigh, long spine. And base of large toe extending forward, that means slightly longer ankle, but very active flexed toes. Like you're walking on the balls of your feet with your heels up. And slowly release your leg. I usually try to teach what I've mentioned I might teach, so I'll just do it real quick for fun. All it is when the immortality lace lock or what is extremely deep therapy that can really regenerate even arthritic joints like mine and has allowed a lot of regeneration so I can continue to live and work and teach and love. When if you just interlace your fingers, turn your palms out, that's one thing. But if you interlace your fingers and turn your palms up, that's another thing. This is not easy. So a lot of people need to do this on the wall. It's wonderful on the wall. Just change the angle and you get the same benefits. There's no need to overstrain your connective tissues. So I recommend the wall, but and also I will have to kneel down because in order to do this, I need to be in a seisan, kneeling meditation. So I cross the toes just because it feels good. This mudra, by the way, real quick, if you slide your foot up until it kicks the heel, okay, then the metatarsal instep bones from the big toe, empty one, will go up into the inner arch to relate to the lower back, get hard to take the tension out of your spine. So if you slide it up and kick the heel, you'd be on the center of the inner arch or center of the sole of the foot, and you'd be sitting on your heels. And that's incredible pressure point in there that relates to the adrenal glands. So it takes a lot of, it repletes our stress stabilizers. It kicks in the parasympathetic system and gets us going from alpha down to beta, down to theta, get into the immortality zone. And then the foot that's getting massaged, that knee might come up if your finger stance back, thumbs forward, reverse finger stance. Lift that knee and get that ankle. Oh, get that deeper inner arch massage. Repleting your adrenals above your kidneys. Oh, yeah, it all relates, doesn't it? But anyway, and then cross the opposite foot, slide up and kick your heel a little bit. So you're on the upper inner arch below the inner heel.
your instep, and you just lean into that. Ooh, and get some side to side juice even. Ooh, right? And then lift the knee of the affected pressure point and just go a little deeper. Whoa, ankle, inner arch pressure point. Release the back from its source energy, from its base roots, its base nerves. And then flex the toes and stretch those pressure points. Immediately stretch your toes and stretch the inner arches to sustain the effect of the pressure points. Stretch the massage, basically. Yeah. That's that. But then from the kneeling position, the immortality lace lock is now we're in the position that we could pull it off, if we could pull it off on the floor, although I do recommend the wall. Okay. So we interlace, we turn the palms up, and yeah, oh. Yeah, the wall's good. The wall's your friend. No, use the wall. Don't give me that mudra. That's Italian. Don't throw in the towel. Use the wall. And then and of course, if you walk your knees back and get your shoulders forward of your wrists, it's a lot less painful, clearly. And you try to bend the elbows. Ha! Try to bend the elbows. Only gun gun. Ah! Who's that? Who else? Who else is doing it? Oh, that's me. Okay. Oh. Oh, gun superpowers activate. Yeah, that's insane. Don't do that. Okay, and then, okay, guys, come on out. There is a counter pose. Turn it around. Interlace palms down. Cornerstone your lace lock to create structure, right? Just regular lace. This is counter pose. You'll feel it. You just put it down, stand down, or just push back. You're gonna like it. Like it. I hope. Oh. Chin to the chest, long neck, spread shoulders, deep neck. Juice. Come on down. Then be like, what? Yeah, there's a lot of tension in there. Isn't that fun? So immortality, is I think a metaphor for just longevity. Okay, maybe nothing lasts forever, but the spirit. But in the meantime, we optimize. So it's intense, but it's wow. Really get it back. Okay. Go climb a rock. Go bouldering now. You're ready. That's what it takes, man. And then you might want to do it one more time, both hands at the same time. Look at this. This is the Mahamudra flow. Inhale back, exhale forward. Inhale back. This is your own work. Inhale back. Do this every morning. This even affects your back, right? Because the forearm, deep core tension in the forearm triggers to the upper back and spine. Just like the deep central calf tension release triggers to the lower back and spine, right? So if your upper spine gets tight, it's going to jam your lower back. So usually it's the ribs to the spine, right? That compression will compress the lower back. So this is great for the back. Then we go from the muscle to the joint, from the yin to the yang. Let's go from muscle to bone. Go to the back. Spread the fingers back to the hands. Yeah. Spread. Slow down. Back to the hands. Push back. I know we're past the time mark. I'm just trying to catch up. Okay. Yeah, we're just 7 minutes over, and we started late and we had to pause. So if you're still in it with me, let's just finish this flow together. Now, here's another quick thing. When your middle fingers are pointed towards one another, this is a micro adjustment. So you either feel it or you don't. When your backs of your wrists are on the floor, you're going to pull apart until this muscle and the skin and the fascia stop. They keep moving and the bones stop. When the bones stop, you stop. So you don't get much movement, but feel the effect. You just pull away until the bones stop. Just pull away, good. It's very small. Just pull apart until the bones stop. Boop, and let the shoulder blades drop. Yeah, feel that. Pull apart, right? And close your fingers, but not your index. Just protect your inner nerve plexus. Group. Oh, you can't see the bad light, but yeah, no index closure probably. You could test it and be like, ooh, maybe it doesn't bother you. Okay, good. And then we roll it out and take the finger stance, right? Get the spread and the grip. Yeah, roll it out. I don't know if you start to feel all this power going on in this kind of mudra flow, but when the energy opens, the gates open in the joints, and the water flows through the muscle, the bone, the rocks and the bones get very stable. Anyway, one more time, butterfly, little butterfly wing. Yay! And the thumb goes forward. Such a delicate power, little butterfly. Thumbs go forward. Little hug. Shoulders flex, stance, long. Flex forward. Like a tiger. Flex forward like a tiger. On your knees or on your feet. Your call. And then when we kneel down, finally, today, as we did before, the forward thumbs come onto the tips and point to the middle. Fingers grip in, hug. You remember, shoulder blade, flex, strong. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. And index forward, palms down, push back, feel it. Shift forward, drop to the side, heels, one-handed press, wide feet, feet don't touch each other, drop to the side. Drop to the forearm, drop to the side, drop to the forearm, strong side ribs, free spine. Strengthen the ribs, free the spine. Okay. Then we shift to the internal mudra. By taking a comfortable seat. And lightly pressing our tongue just behind the teeth to the roof of the mouth. Get out of here, you giant beetle. You're not my friend. Sorry. Spraying, all the animals are coming in the house. Tongue up, breathe through the nose. Activate the soft palate where we have good tastes. As Master Richard Freeman used to teach me. Each breath, a deeper reflection. As the winds calm, reflection in the water becomes clear. And over time, as we draw the seat near, the masters say, Mahamudra Mulabandha. So as we lift the tongue over time, we start to lift the pelvis. Yes. That the roof and the floor are secure from the structure. And the wind of the breath, the water of the flow brings the sunshine to our hearts and our mind's eye. Until we could see the stars more clearly. To identify our origin. To understand that we belong where we are, where we sit, and where we stand. Aho. Namaste. Thank you very much. Thank you. I bow to your lotus feet, your pod